Before we get Hoppe Hour going, I want to remind you about my sponsor, Simply Prepaid of T-Mobile and Gulfport, as they will give you a free Android when you switch from Sprint, Verizon, or AT&T. They also have on-site repairs, the fastest service at cheap prices. If you go there and tell them that Ryan Hoppe sent you, they will give you a badass deal. They are at 5014 Gulfport Boulevard South. That is 5014 Gulfport Boulevard South in Gulfport. Call them at 727-331-1934. That is 727-331-1934. All right.
This should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. Preferably in a residential area.
The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing. You're listening to Hoppe Hour.
What up? What is happening? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, and I'm a big fan of supporting the local comedy scene here in Tampa Bay. So live on the show is comedian Nathan Hart. What's up, dude?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. We got to do the show, The Frightened Ear, with David Weingarten, and I've been meaning to get you on, but I'm glad we did it because then that was the way we first met.
Yeah, that was a cool one to meet on, too.
Yeah, it was one of those things, too, where I enjoyed being on, but I learned so much about, like, Trump and the UFC that I broadened my horizon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's good to run into people that do stuff that you don't do. It helps you learn stuff like that.
When you first met your girlfriend, was that something that happened to you, too, where you broadened your horizon and you changed as a person?
Not initially. I think when I met my girlfriend, it was back in my senior year of high school. And she was going to FSU, and I was not going to college, or if I was going to go to SBC. And I ended up doing the local community college here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I went there for like a semester and dropped out. Anyway, so when we first started dating, we were pretty convinced that we were going to break up when she moved up north or moved up to Tallahassee. So I didn't really get to know her that well at the time. And then she ended up coming back from FSU because their graphic design department shut down. So,
did you have a vibe, though, that she was the right one for you, or did you think it was just like puppy love?
I mean, I was just dating somebody, that I hadn't had a lot of significant relationships in high school. And it had been a few years even since I'd really been dating someone seriously. So, yeah, it was I don't know if I had a feeling right at the start there where I like knew that this was going to be a big deal in my life. Was
she who you lost your V card to?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's a big one, too, because the girl I'm going out with, it's sort of, I lost my V card to her. I'm very private about that type of life, you know what I mean? I don't talk about it on air. But it is weird how when you lose a V card to a girl that you're attracted to, it's a lot different than, like, let's say, if you were to bang some hooker or some one-night move, you know what I mean?
I think that we put too much emphasis on the whole virginity thing for guys anyway. That you get kind of this, you'll catch a lot of shit from your guy friends if you're a virgin past 16 or 17 even.
Oh, yeah. If you're 18 and you're a virgin, what are you doing with your life, dude? You're an idiot.
Yeah, that's one of the shitty things that sexism does to guys, is that we end up with this weird situation where we've got to go out and just bang anybody, and it doesn't need to matter.
And I think the dudes that got laid all the time in high school, or even in their, like, let's say 20s, there is not that much going on with them, man. They're the ones that go to the gym. They're the ones that just get their degree in college. Like, they're not very special. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I mean, I think, like, the number of chicks you've banged has become another one of those metrics that we use to decide how successful people are.
Yeah.
And so, there's probably people in all range of things there.
Yeah, and I think, too, we have the pressure that we have to have sex all the time just because of TV shows. Like, I feel like Jersey Shore was the breaking point when everyone's like, I need to get laid. I need to have a smush room.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And before that, it was probably The Real World and Survivor and all these other shows.
Survivor.
Yeah. People banged on Survivor, right? I'm not imagining that.
I bet they did. I don't think they showed it on CBS TV, but you would have to assume once the camera's off, Jeff Probst is getting some pussy. You know
Someone's
what I mean?
getting banged. Yeah.
Now, how would you approach your comedy career? Like, do you ever find that your girlfriend gets in the way of it, or do you tell her that comedy comes first?
No, not at all. She's actually been a real asset for me. That I don't know where I'd be if she wasn't with me this whole time. And I think that's something I even now I almost overlook sometimes, that I've always got to support. That other comics have got to go home and just think about their shitty set, but I've got somebody who's like, it's fine. You can do it again tomorrow.
That's how I have it too with my girl. She's really supportive, and she knows that radio comes first. I told her that this is 1A, and she's like 1B, where this is the most important thing. But, like, she gets what you do. Isn't it awesome when you have a female in your life that gets what you do?
Yeah, and she actually, I mean, she does a little bit of improv and stuff, too.
Is that how you met?
No, we met in a theater class.
So it's the same thing,
idea.
Being creative, being talented.
Right.
What was it about her that drew you in, Nathan?
I don't remember. I remember we had a few really nice conversations, but I mean, mostly both of us were really just looking to try and sleep with somebody. And then somehow after that, we ended up connecting emotionally.
It is weird how that works out when two people want to get laid so badly that you get really attracted to them. Like the dude who is horny to get laid, and there's the girl that gets laid all the time. That's not the right connection. And if it's vice versa, you kind of have to be similar with your approach to sex. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. I mean, I think that wanting to have the same levels of sex, it's probably pretty essential for most relationships.
It is weird too, like how getting laid really calms you down as a person. Like, it was really bizarre. I went to see my friend who I hadn't seen in a month, and he goes, dude, you've been getting laid. And I'm like, what? And he goes, there's this certain glow to you, man. I can tell. And I was like, oh, how could you tell, dude? It's so odd how even just having someone in your life, you just seem different. Because, like, my whole life, I've been focused on radio and this and that. And for once, you have a second part of your life. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I mean, just having an emotional, like, real connection with people.
But with your girl, do you ever find that it's hard to find things that you guys have in common? Or do you guys like the same music, TV, and movies?
It depends. I mean, there's definitely some shows that she watches that I can't deal with.
Like which ones?
She does the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She watches that one. What's it called? Once Upon a Time? There's that other show.
ABC,
Yeah, and so there's some things that she watches that I just can't deal with it.
Yeah, it's weird how we look down on them for watching that, but then we're watching football or we're watching wrestling or cartoons, and it's like we are almost smarter than them because what we watch has more going on with it, and the scripted shows we watch are smarter than their scripted shows. Like, I'm not being sexist. I'm just saying I don't know why women really get into this trash of the Kardashians, the Real House whores or whatever. You know what I mean? It
seems like those reality shows are more popular with women, and I don't know if I can find
women
a reason
are gay
for that.
men. It's the feminine life thing. And even gay men would attest to that. You know what I mean?
Right. I think it's a little unfair to say that women aren't into football or cartoons or anything.
But the ones that are into football a lot of times think they are the smartest in the room. They know everything about fantasy sports. I am an expert on my team. I'm not sexist whatsoever. I'm just saying it's what I observe. I have nothing but respect for women. I'm just saying I notice a lot of times in 2016 there's this thing where girls want to overcompensate and feel like they fit in with the dudes. And I feel like it's coming with feminism.
Right. Well, I mean, that could be a good thing, couldn't it?
It's a good thing, too, because I like that women are equal with men now.
Right.
But there's the times that you're at the bar and the girl's wearing the Tom Brady jersey and she's like, yeah, Gronkowski. And it's like, shut up. Like, I don't mind you being there. I'm not saying go home and do the dishes. But don't act like you're one of the dudes. Like, yeah, give me another beer. Like, I see this all the time at sports bars where she goes, that's 7 points on my fantasy team. It's like, just because you're a girl and you do it doesn't mean you're any different than the guys. Like, we're all equal here, so shut up.
I don't even understand football at all, so I'd be the total opposite. Just
You'd be like,
what's happening?
Tackling.
Yeah.
A ball's being thrown in a spiral.
That guy got hurt. All right.
Do you not watch sports?
No, not really at all. I'm trying. I'm really trying because, like you opened this thing up with, I'm trying to broaden my horizons.
I think you need to watch football and in the playoffs, watch the NBA and just really focus and watch them as they go to the rim with power, man. I really get into that.
So playoffs, you think, is a good place to start? Okay.
Playoffs is the way to begin.
Gotcha.
Because during the regular season, you're going to have no rooting interest. You're going to be like, why am I watching the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Celtics in a game in February on NBA TV? But if you get that there's a 7-game series and you see them playing with intensity, you're going to get into it.
Yeah, there's tension.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out how I want to broaden my horizon because I watch adult cartoons, I watch sports, and I do radio. Like, what are things that you do that I should do?
I don't know. I think we talked about video games a little bit last time, right?
Yeah, my video games are Madden and NBA.
Right. Okay, yeah, you play the sports stuff. I don't know. I mean, maybe you should go try some feminine shit. You know, take a yoga class or
is meditating a female thing or is that a thing?
I really don't know.
I've
heard you talk about it. You do meditate a lot.
Did I bring it up on David's podcast?
No, I've just listened to some other episodes of this show.
I appreciate you listening. Meditating is one of the greatest things ever. You just shut off everything, dude, because there's no reason to be on your phone 24/7 or to be plugged into electricity. You need to kind of turn off and just relax.
Yeah, that's another thing I've tried to get into because I've meditated a couple times. Once before one of my comedy sets, and it really helped me out.
Go on YouTube site and search up like meditation guide.
I've got an app called Headspace.
I downloaded that. Yeah. How good is that? I haven't used it.
I don't really know because I don't meditate. I don't know how good it is or isn't because I don't know how to meditate normally.
The key is you got to turn off all the lights and put the blanket over your head and just think and lay back.
That's a good one.
There can be no light in the room.
When do you do it?
I do it before interviews, like I did it today.
Yeah.
And I meditated for an hour before my interview with Jim Norton. But I think I also kind of napped. But either way, you're relaxing. Because, like, you don't want to sit there and go, it's 3 p.m. I'll be interviewing him at 9. I'm going to watch TV, watch Netflix. Because then you're just getting yourself hyped up and you're not focusing on the show. You might as well just relax.
Yeah.
I just think we're too plugged in now. I was thinking about it. I think I was a lot happier back when I had a Razor phone. I don't think we're that happy with our smartphones because we want the approval. Us creative guys, we want the retweets. We want to make it in comedy or radio, and we don't just relax.
Yeah. I almost find it stressful when I get likes on posts, like on Facebook, that I've got a bunch of likes, and I'm looking at it just trying to figure out who didn't like the joke.
I'm the same way. Or you go, wow, he liked it? He must like me. And then you never hear from that person again. And you're like, oh, it's a one-time thing.
I have a friend right now who he just moved. Like he's a comedy friend, and he just moved, and he like cut all communication with everybody. He's not answering any of my messages or anything. But every once in a while, he'll like one of my jokes on Facebook. And I don't know what the fuck to do about that.
That's weird.
I have no idea how to handle that.
That's not even like just being antisocial. That's kind of just being a douche. Like you ignore the messages but then like a post.
Yeah,
sort of like when you text somebody and they don't respond back, but then you see that they're active on Twitter or Facebook all day.
Yeah.
It's like, you're disrespecting me. You know what I mean?
Now, I wonder if that's a stressful thing that we're doing to ourselves. Is this built-in thing that where now you've got to text people back, or it's a problem?
Or they text back with the word K, and it's the end of the world.
Yeah, which is just the worst, right?
It is kind of weird, though, when you get K. It just seems kind of lazy. It's like, can't you address okay or see you later? Well,
imagine someone saying that same sort of thing in real life, that it's almost like you say something to somebody and they go, all right.
Okay.
That it's so unenthused that it's almost a little offensive just based on how unenthusiastic it is.
It seems like they have the eyes to the back of their head and they're like, fine, I'll reply. K.
Right.
But when you have the O in front, it's like, okay, see you later. But K, ugh, it's the worst.
O is really dragging that K along.
Yeah, O is the game changer. That is the quarterback that leads social situations. But when you have K, it's the backup that no one cares about.
Right.
It is weird how our parents did not have this in the 80s.
No, they never had to deal with it. And, I'm hoping that in like 5 or 6 years, we'll have worked it out.
I think it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And just we are going to lose our minds.
We've got to get it
think
eventually,
the
right?
Millennials are just going to keep getting it worse, dude.
Yeah.
Because we're millennials, but whatever the next generation is, dude, when I work Tampa Bay Lightning games for the Bone, you see 5-year-olds taking selfies. You're like, oh, dear God.
This doesn't need to be happening.
It's just, it feels weird because it feels like they then post that to, let's say, Club Penguin or whatever social media site they're on. It just seems like a way for bad people to find pictures. I'm not a big fan of 5-year-olds taking a duck face. Maybe
Right.
it's just me, but I find it to be odd.
Well, in the future, it's just going to be the way it is.
I'm going to be the parent that even though it's 2030, I'm going to be like, no, here's a razor from 2006. You're using this. Or I might even give them a brick phone from 2000.
I wonder if people were saying this same sort of stuff when we first started using the printing press.
Yes.
If they were just as upset. And if we were just fucking it up for like the first 5 years of the printing press.
Or even in the 70s when our parents were talking to their girlfriend on the phone. They're like, why are they laying in bed? Why aren't they together?
Right. Yeah. And the telegraph before that I wonder what the equivalent of K on a telegraph was.
Or what's that beeping thing during the era of Abraham Lincoln?
What, like Morse code?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder what it was like for Morse code.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's the telegraph. Yeah, you do Morse code with a telegraph. I got this. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't pay attention in any of my classes, dude. Yeah. You seem like a very smart guy. I'm very average. My IQ is 100. It's average. I have nothing special going on.
I just got really into history lately, so like by chance I was able to pull that one out because I've been listening to the Hardcore History podcast.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I'd really recommend that one if you've got like 4 hours to spare because they're really, really long, but they're really good.
Yeah, I'm trying to get into documentaries, but I'll be going through Netflix and I'll see American Dad or I'll see It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Did you check out F is for Family yet?
Phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really good.
I had the guy that made the show on, not Bill Burr. I had Michael Price, the creator, on.
That's very cool.
Dude, that show, they put a lot of effort into it, man.
Yeah.
F is for Family, it better get picked up.
Right.
I don't know why it was just 6 episodes. I was like,
is it only 6?
Yeah.
I think I only watched the first 3 so far. Oh, damn. So I'm going to finish that tonight then.
Dude, Bill Burr is brilliant. He is one of the most underrated comics out there now.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's underrated. I mean, at least among the comedy community, I'd say Bill Burr is the highest rated guy out there.
But he's just a guy that isn't a household name. That's what I mean by underrated.
Yes, I agree.
But then again, if he were to be a household name, he'd be in every bad movie. So it's like...
Louis C.K.'s managed to dodge that he's a household name in comedy, but I can't think of a single bad piece of property from him.
His show is brilliant.
Yeah.
Even Lucky Louie was great.
I never watched it, but I've heard that.
It's on HBO Go.
Yeah. Okay.
See, I don't have cable. My friend gave me his package, so I just watch whatever I want.
Yeah.
And you can watch it online. That's what's great about it. It's because remember 10 years ago, if you didn't have cable, you were actually missing out on The Sopranos. But now there's websites to find it. Like once YouTube joined, that was the game changer for TV. That's when network TV was shit out of luck. You agree?
And it'll continue to be shit out of luck.
Oh,
Absolutely.
the shows they have coming out, I've never even heard of.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even watch network TV. The last show I watched was The Office or Prison Break. Like, it's just been forever.
I haven't had cable since I moved out of my parents' house 4 years ago.
There's no need to. Netflix is everything.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I've got Netflix, and then everything that I can't cover on Netflix, I allegedly pirate off the internet.
I allegedly do that too using Popcorn Time.
Allegedly.
You have to use Popcorn Time, dude.
Popcorn Time. I'll try that one.
You can watch whatever you want.
Oh, okay.
It's very legal.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's odd how I feel almost bad that I'm watching somebody's property and I'm not paying $9 a month for HBO. But then I go, if I'm watching a show with The Rock and it's on HBO, I think he can spare that I'm not paying the $9 a month to watch Ballers.
Right. And that's always, I mean, the easy moral argument to get out of the problem with stealing from rich people. You know, is that we get to say, oh, they don't need it. They're going to be fine. I mean, I still do it. I'm not trying to shit on you here.
Yeah.
But
like, how deep do you go into it? Like, I never did LimeWire because I was scared of the viruses.
I stole music on allegedly stole music on LimeWire like back 10 years ago or so when it first came out. But I got a virus on my computer, so
We all did.
You were probably right. Since then, I haven't really had any trouble since I switched over to like uTorrent or Pirate Bay. I used for a long
Project
time.
Free TV.
Oh, I haven't tried that one either.
I use the sites that have players. I'm scared of torrents.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to shut down my computer, dude.
Yeah. I literally don't know enough to be able to tell you if it's safe or not. It's probably not, and I'm just lucky. Like that's all I got. I think if I was a network executive at any of these TV stations or a radio executive or a music exec, if any of them, I'd be really worried right now.
Especially TV. I think out of all of them, music, Adele did it right. Adele said, shut up. I'm going to release my CD. That's when you're hearing the music. To me, that sort of saved music because people go, if Adele can do it, I can. And you're seeing more rappers waiting.
Right.
But, dude, TV is shit out of luck because they're running out of ideas. Every show is copying Friends. Every show is trying to be one of the cool shows on network TV.
Right.
I mean, their names aren't even creative anymore.
And out of a half-hour show, a third of your time is going to commercials.
Yeah, and then the same thing is the sitcoms are getting old because it's got the laugh track. Would I rather watch Kimmy Schmidt on Netflix or some crappy show on NBC that has the ha 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 ha? Like, have you seen the videos of The Big Bang Theory without the laugh track?
Oh, it's a nightmare. Yeah.
Oh,
it's almost as bad as just watching the show.
It is one of the worst shows that everybody loves.
I can't do it. I don't even know who likes that show. I really don't.
I think it's older people that just kind of settle. They're like, oh, that's what's on network TV.
My grandparents had it on.
My mom gets into that, Mike and Molly. My mom loves Two Broke Girls, and that makes my skin crawl.
Yeah. I haven't watched really very many of them like that. I haven't seen Two Broke Girls. I haven't seen Mike and Molly at all.
It was weird. Watching that video of no laugh track on 2.5 Men ruined 2.5 Men for me. But I was also 12 when I was watching it, so it was funny seeing a guy get laid. But now you watch it, and you're like, you're a piece of shit, Sheen.
Poor Charlie Sheen.
I don't feel bad.
I don't know why I said that. I don't mean that. He's fine.
I loved how it got announced before he did the announcement. It was like on Twitter. There was a certain celebrity that has HIV, and then everybody was saying it's Sheen. And then Sheen saying, I have an announcement tomorrow. It's like, really? You have to go on TV to announce it? I wish he would have gone on and said, I found the cure for HIV. It was the most unimportant, uncompelling announcement ever. You're like, oh, cool, you have AIDS. Sorry.
Okay.
It was like the opposite of Magic Johnson. When Magic Johnson said he had HIV, everyone's like, crap.
Yeah.
Please don't bleed around me. But when Sheen got it, you're like, oh, the sky's blue.
He could have tweeted it. That would have been enough. Like, hey, what's up? I got HIV. Done.
Winning.
Right. Yeah. He'd probably still jam that in. I wonder if he's going to be okay. I bet he'll be able to pay for it like Magic Johnson did.
Yeah, I feel like they can get away with anything. But if we got HIV, we'd be screwed.
Like that South Park episode? Yeah. They're just shooting up with money. Yeah.
Dude, it is weird how they can do basically whatever they want. Like, it's sickening that a famous person can drive drunk. Famous person can rape somebody until you become Bill Cosby. They can get away with anything they want, man. It's like, it's sickening because then the whole celebrity phenomenon never goes away.
Yeah. You just got to get famous for the right reason, and then you can do whatever you want.
How famous do you want to get?
I don't really care about that stuff. And honestly, in comedy, I think the idea of being like a household name, like Louis C.K., that I'd say he's probably one of the last of his line. Is that I bet in the future we're really not. Everything's going to get more fragmented from here on out.
Why?
Because of the internet, because of streaming, because there's not going to be any TV channels to tell you who to watch.
Vine has quote unquote comedians. Vine has comedians.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. I don't think stand-up's going to die. I think stand-up's going to stay strong, but I think that there's going to be more comedians with smaller followings.
And I think the problem is with social media, anybody can be a comedian. That's why I took my time. I moved here in May, but I didn't begin interviewing local comics until like November because I wanted to figure out who to interview. And when I heard about
Right.
Cigar City Comedy and Law Smith and everybody over there,
Yeah.
that's when I'm like, these are the people to
Good
interview.
place to start.
Like you.
Yeah.
But you just don't know who to interview because anybody can be a comic.
Right. Well, and you're right. Anyone can be a comic, but it doesn't mean everyone can be a good comic.
Yeah. I mean, if you go to open mic, dude, I've never been so uncomfortable in my life.
Well, me too. Yeah. But you know what? Every open micer, no matter how bad they are, I've always felt like every open micer's got at least one good joke in them.
There's a few I've seen where there's none.
Yeah, and maybe you don't see it on any given night, but eventually they're going to find that one great joke if they keep working on
Oh,
it.
I'm not ripping on them. They have more guts than me to
Oh,
go
rip
and-
on them, by all means. Like, there's a lot of terrible open
All right.
micers.
There was one that did a top 10 list of why Santa Claus does not get along with Mrs. Claus. And the best part was that he wanted everybody to get involved with the countdown. So he would throw his hands like he was a quarterback, and he'd be like, everyone with me. So the whole room's quiet, and he goes, number 10. Not one person.
No.
So then, of course, afterwards, number 9 and number 8, people got involved with. But everyone goes to say 7. So they go, number 7, 6. He got the number wrong when he was supposed to say 7, and the whole crowd saying 7.
Skipped a joke.
He said
Yeah.
6.
Oh, man.
And after that, nobody did it.
One night I managed to skip a callback. That I did a callback to a joke I didn't do during my set.
Oh, that's uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, they didn't get it. They didn't like that part.
Like, what's it like when you do that? How do you recover on stage?
You don't. You say have a good night and you get off.
And you drive home and drink whiskey
Yes.
and
Yeah,
pretend that never happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird because I'm in this room by myself, so I just pretend no one's going to ever listen to it.
Right.
But it's got to be weird to perform in front of people, man. It's a
Yeah.
different thing.
Yeah. I would feel like this would be way more uncomfortable. I'd have a much harder time being able to focus like which direction to take what I'm talking about. I'd just run off the rails. Like that's why I don't even have a podcast. I haven't even tried.
Well, when I first began doing interviews, if this was May, it'd be, what's up? We have Nathan Hart here, a local comic. What's up, dude? Where'd you grow up? Who are your influences?
The real
What made
basic
you want to
stuff.
go into comedy?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite comic? What's the
Right.
time you bombed? What's the greatest show you had? But now it's just us talking, just
Right.
like David Weingarten does
Smoother.
or any of the podcasts. You just got to act like you're at the bar talking.
Right.
And so many podcasts try to be like Adam Carolla, and it's like, you got to be yourself.
Yeah.
In any type of field, man. Comedy, theater, music, radio, TV, acting. The key to success to me is being humble and being genuine, you know?
Yeah, especially being genuine. That just finding a way to express like what you're doing.
Especially in 2016 with the internet, man. I just had comedian Sam Morrill, and he was talking about how, like, the fat Jew was taking jokes from him, and it's just
Right.
like, it's so easy to take jokes with memes now.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. That it's a lot easier to steal jokes than it used to be, but I think there's also more jokes out there.
That too.
Yeah.
And here's what happened. I made a joke that I was proud of.
Right?
Made a joke that I loved. I said Jeb Bush is the Cooper Manning of the Bush family. And the joke is there's Peyton, there's Archie the dad, and then there's Eli. And they're the 3 successful quarterbacks. And Cooper was the one that got hurt right before he went to his sophomore year of college, and he never played. So my point was, Bush made it an office, and then George H.W. made it an office, and Jeb's the Cooper Manning. He's the side
Gotcha.
guy. And there's a comic that I had on Hoppe Hour who's semi-big who accuses me of taking his joke, and he screenshots his joke from February 8th. And I'm like, dude,
Oh,
it's so
man.
basic. I'm like, why would I take it from you, man? Like,
Yeah.
I had you on my show. I'm like, I'm not like that.
Right.
That
right.
really annoyed me.
I bet I've got at least something on my Twitter feed that if you went and cross-referenced it, you could find other people that have done it before me.
It's like, I'm pretty sure that's a very common
Yeah.
analogy. It's the
Right.
former presidential
Yeah.
president, and then it's a famous quarterback.
Right.
Of course, people are going to put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
It's so easy to be a hack, though. You know what I mean?
And whenever I get a joke like for Twitter that comes to me a little too easily. Like if I'm watching a news item and I instantly get something that I think is really funny, I go on Twitter and I type the whole thing out just to see if anyone else already said it.
That's what Sam said on my last show too.
Yeah.
Is that if it comes too easily, it's probably not original.
Right.
So that joke about the Cooper,
Yeah.
about Cooper Manning and then about Bush, it came so easily. Of course,
Right.
people are going to think of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your approach to finding jokes that are original? How do you figure out your routine?
Well, I kind of go off what I think's funny. That what I'm interested in and what I think is funny, because I've always figured that if I'm the one doing the comedy, that's what I should focus on is the things that I'm interested in, because it'll become original just because no one else is going to have the same specific set of interests that I do.
It's a very good point. I never thought of it that way, because you have to be genuine. Because
Yeah.
if you're yourself and you're just real and you don't try to copy someone, you're going to always be yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I do hate, though, when you're an edgy comic or you're an improv comic, they'll say, you're copying this guy. Like for me in radio, a lot
Right.
of these edgy shows, they're nothing but Howard wannabes. You know what I mean? I hate when people try to say you're copying something.
People are always going to make comparisons just because it's easy. It's an easy way to bring people down.
But it's almost flattering. If you say you're a Howard wannabe, it's like,
Right.
okay, I'm a wannabe of a guy whose net worth is $500 million. I don't mind being a
They're
wannabe.
like, yeah, you probably do want to be like him in ways, but you also want to be different.
Who are some comics that you like to watch without taking their jokes?
Without taking their jokes.
But I mean, like, for me, what I meant by that was I listen to a lot of radio, but I really focus on how they do it
Right.
and not taking their bits. Like,
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
really getting into Howard
Technical
lately.
aspects, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I mean, I try and watch everybody. I try and anytime there's a new Netflix special, I try and watch and adapt what people are doing. When I first started, my biggest like influence of, oh, that's how you do this, was watching Mark Maron.
I could
and-
see you being like Mark Maron.
Yeah, that just the way that he's kind of scatterbrained and he's got darkness to it. That interests me.
He's very smart.
I don't know. I don't even know what smart means.
He's very quick-witted. He's definitely... I mean, he made an interview with Obama good. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you liked that Obama interview.
Did you?
Yeah, I was pretty into it.
Me and you were talking in the break room, and I think you could say I'm an Obama fan.
Right. Yeah.
Couldn't you kind of tell?
I mean, I can't really tell. I wouldn't have known if it didn't come up. Wow, we're
But I
talking
mean-
about it like it's a disease or something.
No, but you know what I mean. I kept saying, I'm going to miss Obama. We need
Right.
Biden in office.
It's just something you don't hear that very often either. People who are like actually still pro-Obama.
Oh, I love Obama, dude.
Yeah.
I think he gets way too much hate.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
The fact that people say, well, he didn't work with Congress. He didn't work with the Republicans. How about those jackasses that didn't work with him?
Yeah.
How about that piece of shit, John Boehner? There you go. That's all I know.
There was a two. That's Ryan Hoppe's political minute there.
You'll see me on MSNBC soon.
Yeah, with your little glasses. Right.
So what do you think, though? What's your take?
On Obama?
Anything and just everything going
Anything
on.
political. Yeah. I don't know. My thing with Obama is that it almost comes down to the marijuana thing. This is my best example of what's going on with Obama. Is that when he was a kid, he smoked a bunch. That there's pictures of him smoking, that there's stories that there'd be people smoking a joint in a circle and he'd rush in and grab the joint and hit it. That he would just break into the circle and skip the line and then just walk out. That was Barack Obama in college. And now he's got a job that if he had gotten busted doing that, like he should have under his laws, then he wouldn't be president. There'd be no way he could be president.
He's very PC. That's what I noticed is Obama.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Obama that is one of his biggest flaws and one of the reasons why he didn't excel, I think he's very self-conscious. And
Yeah.
I think he wants everyone's approval. Like Trump was pretty much saying the truth when he wasn't saying those were terrorists from San Bernardino.
Yeah.
That's when you kind of lose Obama. You're like, dude, they took innocent
Right.
lives. It's like you got to kind of come up to the plate and be a man. That's when Obama annoys me, is when he's so politically correct. It's like, come on, dude.
He could take a page from, I hate to say it, but a page from Trump would be good there.
Just be 1/20th of Trump. Don't be crazy like him.
Right.
But I think that's what people don't like is, I mean, the name of his health care is Obamacare. Like, everything's got his name on it.
That got pinned to him. That he called it the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
But it got turned into Obamacare because it's easier to attack his character than it is to attack the ideas.
I wonder if Fox News came up with that.
I don't know. I've always wondered that. Who came up with Obamacare? If it was supporters or not. Yeah, it's not a good name. No.
It sounds like just like him being like a speaker at some hotel trying to sell books. Obamacare.
Right.
It doesn't come off like health insurance that's helping you.
I wish that he was really the tyrant that he gets accused of being. That if he was really taking as much dictator type action as they say he does, I'd probably like him more.
Or if he was like a Muslim.
Yeah, or if he was actually a Muslim future terrorist or whatever. Yeah, an actual Muslim president wouldn't be the worst idea for America.
Here's my thing about Obama, too. I have the most odd analysis because I don't know much, but I just sort of observe things. As I told you in the break room, and I'll say now, he just seems like a guy who wants everyone's approval and who cares about the Americans.
Right.
Guys like Trump and Ted Cruz and Rubio and even Bernie Sanders to a point. They seem like they need to be the smartest in the room, the loudest in the room, and everything needs to be about them. To me, Obama seems like a guy with a lot of ideas. You know what I mean?
Right. I don't know. We'll see what happens by the end of this next election.
It's just, I don't like any of the Republicans running. It's like, why can't we have Mitt Romney again? Something that's decent. Or even McCain. Why do we have this fucking piece of shit named Ted Cruz, you scumbag?
I never thought that I would be asking for another Mitt Romney.
I never thought I'd be rooting for another Clinton.
Yeah, right, or a Clinton. Right. Oh, geez. It's all a mess. It's all going to be a big mess.
And what's weird is, back when Trump was saying those things to, who's the blonde from Fox News that he called out?
Megyn Kelly. Yeah.
It was funny when he did that. It was funny when he said, I want to have a fence or I want to have a border across Mexico.
Right, a
lot of
wall.
the things he says are funny. But then when you break it down and he's doing this well going on March and the election is 5 months away. No, it's 8 months away. Same thing, though. The fact that we're getting that close, it reminds me of the movie Idiocracy, dude. I'm a little frightened.
Yeah. Since step one, I think people have been making that comparison.
Oh, I've been saying that since 2008. Before everybody jumped on that bandwagon. I knew about that movie when no one did, dude. And I'm proud of it. And I know everyone hates the guy who says, I knew about that song before everyone else. But trust me, I knew about that before everybody.
Electrolytes. It's what plants crave.
I like money. That movie is brilliant, though. It's
yeah. Only because it's such a specific premise that he managed to nail down so well. The idea that dumb people are going to outbreed smart people. It just feels true.
It just scares me because there's a lot of things that seem real, like when you go to, let's say, one of the big box shops, and it really is like the Costco in the movie.
Yeah.
Especially if you go at night and you're trying to shop late because you just don't like going during the day.
I bet that's another thing that's going to go away, just like TV stations, is department stores.
Really?
That department stores, like shopping malls.
Oh, dude, have you seen the website abandonedmalls.com?
I have not.
You got to go on Google. I don't know the exact URL. Type in abandoned malls. The next 2 hours after this interview, there is over 400 empty malls, and a lot of these, dude, they have videos of people walking through it. They have the pictures. They'll have like little like carousels or like rides in the middle that are empty.
Like Chernobyl or something.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
You got to look up abandoned malls, man. It's
nuts.
scary.
Yeah, I'll have to do that.
Are there any by here that are really empty? Because there was one in the Midwest that was eerie, dude.
Yeah.
In Waukegan, Illinois, dude. It was empty for 10 years, and it was just black all the time. And you just felt the sadness, man.
We've got Seminole Mall that's kind of in the middle of getting torn down, but I mean, really the only thing here that's constantly abandoned is, I don't know. Nothing's abandoned in Pinellas County, really. Everything's full of old people.
That's true. Old people in trash bags.
Yeah.
Absolute imbeciles. Absolute cretins.
Yeah.
I have the worst neighbors, dude. I live kind of on the south side of St. Pete.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the north part of the south side. I live off of 22nd Avenue North. You can kidnap me.
Right.
It's hard to figure out where I live. But, like, it is weird how, like, the people that live down here are not people you're going to see in the Midwest, dude. They are odd.
Right. Yeah, there's some definite strange things that happen here in Florida. I wonder if it's because a lot of the parents of the generation that was born here and lives here and grew up here, like people my age, that our parents all escaped from the Northeast. That there's a ton of older people who live here that are criminals from New York.
Also, you just have the transplants that can't handle the sunshine. Because, dude, I can't even handle it. I grew up in the Midwest. I've never seen this much sunshine. I lived in Cleveland for 4 months and never saw the sun. I can't describe what it was like when I saw no clouds in May when I moved here.
Does that like screw with you at all? Like you're
like in heaven. You're like, oh my God. Now I'm used to it. But the first 2 months, I was like, whoa, sunshine.
The sun's
and now
here.
I take it for granted. But then when you go home, and I went home to Illinois for Christmas, and it's 40 degrees out, and everyone finds that warm, and then there's no sun, and there's no water, and it's all land, then you go, all right, take me back to Tampa.
Yeah. I've never really lived anywhere else for a significant period of time. I was born in Boston, but I don't remember it at all.
Have you gone back?
So, no, haven't yet. Yeah, working on it. Okay, we were talking before about like how famous I want to get or whatever. My only real goal with comedy is to be able to see the country. That I want to get good enough that I can go to a tour, and I literally do not care what happens before or after that. That's the only goal.
Would it be your main job?
Ideally, yeah.
That's what I want.
That I'd want to make most of my money doing comedy. Maybe I'll do some commercials or something. I don't care. That I'm fine with selling out as long as it's not directly related to my art.
Yeah, there's some comics that sold out that it's weird.
Yeah, I would never, like, there's the idea that you should do clean comedy to be able to get into corporate gigs and all that, and I think that that's a compromise I'd never want to make. That I've got, like, I'm not a super dirty comic. I can probably do some clean material that's totally, like, PG and be fine. Yeah. But I don't want to be writing a piece on something and have to keep it in my mind that, like, oh, I don't want to swear in case I want to swear.
And sometimes the word fuck makes a joke funny.
Yeah. If fuck didn't fit into the language, it wouldn't be there. We would never say it if there was never a right time to say it.
Dude, sometimes I wonder how many times I say it a day. I have an addiction to say the word fuck.
I've learned I'm really good at being able to shut it off.
Really?
Yeah, because I've got a day job still, and there I can't swear, and I'm amazed sometimes at how much I can go without swearing.
Dude, I have a really big mouth where I'll rant a lot, and like when I go to like, let's say Christmas or Thanksgiving, and you just kind of like realize you really can't be yourself around the nephews. You know what I mean? That's when you're like, all right, I'm just going to like drink and be quiet. Because I have no filter, dude. It's not good.
My parents don't like swearing at all very much.
Well, my mom's like Roman Catholic, dude, so I'm the opposite.
Your parents swear all the time then? Yeah.
No, they are innocent.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we just said the same thing. Yeah.
Well, here's the weird part, too. Tell me how awkward this is, or if I'm just being too over the top. Tell me what you think of this, Nathan.
Okay.
Okay, I've been going out with my girlfriend, Michelle, for a month. Everything's been going great. I met her parents, and I was like, they're cool.
Right.
They're fun to be around. We went to the beach.
Yeah.
I had lunch with them. I've hung out with them. I have no problem with them. So I was like, okay, I'll return the favor. I want my girlfriend to talk to my mom on the phone. So we did. It was going good. It was fine. My mom asks her what she does, vice versa. And then my mom goes, and I don't care if she hears this, because I thought it was utterly ridiculous. They say in life that the three things you don't talk about are sex, you don't talk about the election, and you don't talk about religion and money.
Right.
And my mom asks my girlfriend, are you ready? What is your religious affiliation?
Wow, that's really official. That's really official.
And I love my mom more than anything. She helps me out, but I was mad.
Man, that's a heavy question, too. I don't even know how to answer that. Like, I don't know what I'd say. Yeah.
And my girlfriend was like, well, I went to church, I'm Christian. And I could tell my mom wanted her to say, I'm Catholic.
Right. Wanted you to find a nice Catholic girl.
That's what she wanted. Like, when I was single and, like, by myself, she's like, you need to go to a Catholic camp and meet a nice girl. I'm like,
Wow.
I'm the one that watches porn. My show that I love the most is Aqua Teen Hunger Force and The Wire, and I do a radio show where I swear occasionally. I don't really think that I'm the demographic to read about John Paul or whatever the fucking Bible is.
Yeah. I can't track any of that stuff. I wasn't really raised religious at all.
Oh, dude, it was forced down my throat.
I actually wish that they had given me a little more, just because they're not religious at all, but I wish someone could have told me, like, at least a little bit of, here's what we think.
Oh, no,
But
you don't want that, dude.
from the very start, though, I was always just getting like, you'll figure it out. You can have your own opinions on God and all that. You'll figure it out, Nathan. And I never got any guidelines as to be like, well, here's what we think. That would have been nice. It would have been nice to have at least a little bit of, like, I don't know, maybe God will be mad at me.
But you don't want them to be fake and feel like they have to force it. I feel like
No,
a lot of
no.
parents go to church because they feel like it's the thing for their kids.
Yeah.
And I feel like your parents' approach is very different and very
Right.
unique, where it's like, figure it
They
out.
were
Sorry.
very hands off. And, it's probably grass is greener on the other side type situation, where if I was raised heavily religious, I would probably despise them for it.
Oh, I don't despise my parents, but
Right.
the thought of going to Catholic church makes
Yeah.
me want to jump off the Howard Franklin, dude. I can't handle priests. I don't like the fact that it's a small world. I don't like the fact that in radio, everybody knows somebody in radio. The same thing in comedy. Every priest knows somebody that was a pedophile priest, or at least knows somebody that knows somebody. I
creepy.
can't handle the priest thing. I don't get the whole thing, dude, where they don't have sex and their like whole basis is they're married to God or whatever. It's just weird.
It feels outdated to have priests around nowadays.
It just feels weird to go to church. I was saying this to my mom. I have one friend who goes to church, and that's because he grew up with it. I think religion's dying, dude.
Are you like a full-blown atheist?
Here's the thing.
Kind of agnostic?
I don't want to depress the room,
Uh-huh.
but my dad died of leukemia like 15 months ago, and he was a diehard Roman Catholic, never ate meat on Friday.
Right?
Never, ever liked when I watched Family Guy. We did the 3-joke rule. After the third joke, I had to turn it off. I was going to hell because I liked Family Guy. He waited until marriage, this and that.
Right.
And the fact that he died of it kind of annoys me. And the fact that he spent his whole life basing it off of God kind of annoys me.
Feels like a ripoff almost.
It's just kind of like, really? And I know they have the whole excuse, well, he
Right.
lived a good life. It's like, well, he was 50. And it's not even just because of that. It's just,
Yeah.
I find people to be so religious to be kind of creepy when they're so based off of it or they're
Yeah.
fake. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like you're empty inside, so you want to believe in something. I am so open-minded that atheists make me annoyed. The ones that do the war on Christmas, dude.
Right.
Or the ones
Oh,
that
man.
shove it down your throat.
Yeah.
Just no one cares. Shut up. Either way.
There's a lot of atheists who have decided that the thing that Christians are doing wrong isn't the fact that they can be obnoxious and they can have dogma and they can press it down your throat. A lot of atheists have decided that all that stuff's fine and the only problem is the God thing.
What I love too is, aren't they doing the same thing that religious people do by speaking out? Like Ricky
Absolutely.
Gervais is brilliant. I'm a big fan of him. But him doing comedy so much on being atheist, you're no different than one of the preachers, like any of them that do a whole act on being religious.
Only Gervais is really funny.
Oh,
And
no doubt.
You can find, I think it's like 6 different volumes of this this Christian comedy special on Netflix. It's the worst stand-up I've ever seen. I can't remember what it's called right now, but you can go find it. It's a series of like 5 or 6 different volumes. It's so bad. I just sat down and hate watched it for
Was
like
there
a whole
any
day.
laughter or no?
The audience that was there seemed to be pretty into these really terrible jokes, but there's an audience for everything, you know?
I have to watch this, dude.
It was the worst. It was so bad. Because
What were the jokes about?
It was so canned. It was a lot of just like, oh, and this is how much I love God. Da, 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 because he's so... Like, I can't remember lines. I have this problem with comedy where it seems to go all in one ear and out the other, that I can never retain anything from anyone's act. That, like, I guess I'm immune to accusations of joke theft or something.
This might be it. Is it called Thou Shalt
Yes,
Laugh?
thou shalt laugh. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's so bad.
I am watching that tonight with my girlfriend.
Oh, it's so bad. You're not going to be able to get past the opening act. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Thou shalt laugh. Holy.
Yeah.
That just has douche chills.
It's so bad.
What
Okay.
is the worst part about
And that's
it?
the thing, is that there are... It's just that all of the jokes in it are all just this pandering bullshit, that they're constantly just trying to make people feel good about being Christians. There's very few actual jokes, and like there are funny Christian comics. There definitely are. Like one of my favorite local guys is Jared Waters, and
He's religious.
He's
And I
quite
think
Christian.
Ron Hortman is spiritual.
Yeah, I mean there are definitely some out there that are, and they don't really talk about
Or
it.
he's got more morals. That's what
Yeah.
I mean. Is when I had him in
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
he's very spiritual
Right.
and very humble. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's got a lot of that godliness thing going on. But like
Very
Jared,
humble, yeah.
Jared talks about being Christian in his act sometimes, but he does it in a way that I find really engaging and creative. And I like to hear the viewpoint of someone that I'm not Christian at all, so I can't make jokes about it.
Dude, Thou Shalt Laugh has Rotten Tomatoes rating. Guess what it is?
What is it?
Guess.
Oh, what's the lowest you can go on Rotten Tomatoes?
0.
Wow, is it? Oh, it can't be 0. It's got to be 1.
89%.
What? Are you fucking kidding me? No
Let me read
way.
some of these reviews. I cannot believe. It must just be where they go, okay, it's creative, it's unique. There's no way they really found it funny. They must
no
have.
way. I read the reviews on Netflix, and I remember all of them were people saying, like, oh, I love how clean this is.
I didn't know Patricia Heaton did some jokes in there. She's the mom from Everyone Loves Raymond in the middle.
Really?
She was in it.
Oh, wow.
One of the greatest sets I've ever seen. It actually did get a little risque at times, but good for the whole family. I recommend it. Next review. This is inspiring and amazing. Forget the comics that you see on Comedy Central or HBO.
Oh, my God.
This is where you go. Next review. You have to see this. A great group of comics that prove that comedy doesn't have to be crude and doesn't have to have cussing. I laughed my little heart out. Next review. Oh my God, is this the funniest thing? It's amazing. Yeah, there you go.
I wonder how many of those reviews are from people who literally just discovered stand-up is a thing by watching this. And that if they saw any other comedy special, they would realize how terribly inferior it is.
And I hate all their press shots. Like, there's this guy named Jeff Allen, and he has the face of, ooh, wow, watch out.
Yeah, they've all
Look
got
at
those wacky comedy pictures. Oh, God.
How would you describe it? He's
looks
got
like a
his
pastor.
face. He has this face where he's not, like, really frowning, but he's not, like, got any part of a smile. It's sort of like a mugshot when you get a DUI. Like, you have your lips together, and it's like, I'm insane. You don't know what Jeff Allen's going to say. I'm wacky because I'm not conventional.
He looked like his balls just got into the cold part of a pool.
He looks like he just found out that his girl's, like, cheating on him.
Yeah.
With, like,
yeah.
a priest. Like,
Right,
oh,
with
no.
a priest. Yeah. Oh, man.
Dude, I have to tweet this out later, man. I am going to be watching this later.
I hope that all of the comics from Thou Shalt Laugh hear this interview because they have nothing else going on. Hear that, you fucks?
Could you
can find me.
imagine if Jeff Allen's one of my biggest fans? and he has the app and he listens. Could you imagine that if he was like actually like happy?
Wow.
Maybe I just burned a bridge with Jeff Allen.
Yeah, I hope we didn't just burn a ton of really Christian bridges.
And we're not taking a bridge to heaven now.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like whatever clubs those were leading to, I probably don't want to be booked
I
at.
wonder what club it's at. Is it like a juice bar or something really happy?
It looked like it might literally be a church. Do churches have auditoriums? I don't know. It looked like maybe a church auditorium.
Don't call me a comedian. Call me a humorist. Shut up, Jeff.
Wow, what does that mean?
He's 69 years old.
Wow, really?
I will say this, Jeff. You look really good. Guess who he was influenced by? Bill Cosby.
Really? Wow.
That really holds up in 2016.
Sounds like he has not been reading the news.
I wonder what he would think of Cosby now.
Yeah.
Good old Jeff Allen.
Maybe he's a Catholic priest on the side.
Oh,
you know, he's a
God.
humorist and then also a Catholic priest.
Oh, my God. I know this is a visual, but I will tweet this out later, I promise, at Ryan Hoppe Radio. You have to see his latest press shot. Dude. It says, I just want somebody to like me, and it's pointing at the like bar. Are you ready? This is the
Oh, man.
God, this is giving me douche chills.
I got to see this. Why is he upside down?
He's got his head upside down, and he's got that zany face. That's a good word. It's zany.
Zany.
It's
yeah.
crazy. He's wacky.
Yeah. Like whoever named all the comedy clubs back in the 80s that decided they all just needed to be weird words that kind of imply humor.
Jeff Allen combines clean, nice, family-friendly humor with inspiration like no other comedian. He is one of the best out today, and one that you should book for your corporate event.
That's what it comes down to. See what I was talking about earlier? That corporate clean comedy is how you end up with bullshit. And then, like, there are funny clean comics. I don't want it to sound like I hate clean comedy.
I kind of do.
But Jim Gaffigan. Jim Gaffigan
Well,
does
that's
not
the one
swear.
everyone goes to.
Yeah, I know. And that's almost not even fair to bring him up. But, like, Aziz, he doesn't really swear very much. He's pretty clean for the most part.
Yeah, he's very friendly for teens.
There are jokes out there that don't need the word fuck in them. Saying fuck doesn't automatically make a joke funny, but sometimes it does. I mean, sometimes it is the right word. And so, like, this shit where they're not trying to sell themselves based on their skills and their writing ability or how funny they are. They're just trying to sell themselves based on the words they're not saying.
I don't know. It's just, I find it odd that you would do jokes on God. Like, what were some of the premises they had?
Oh, man, I really don't remember very much. I managed to block a lot of it out.
You drank a lot of whiskey to forget about it.
Yeah, I was definitely drunk when I opened it. I was definitely more drunk by the time I finished it. So I don't really totally know what happened in between.
Dude, I love Jim Norton. I know I interviewed him, so I have a bias. But, dude, I love comics that speak the truth. That's what I like, is when comics use it as an open outlet to speak the truth.
And I think that that's the highest level of comedy, is that once you've got the entertainment down, once you can keep a crowd engaged and they're into your jokes, then you can start talking about some real ideas.
What are some things you dabble in?
What, like in comedy?
Yeah.
I mean, I do stand-up and improv, or do you mean like just ideas?
Topics. Like, what are your go-to topics and ideas?
I try and work out, just because I've got a small frame to me, that, like, I know this is all audio, so I probably sound like I'm way tougher than I am in real life. That, like, I weigh, like, 115 right now.
And you have glasses.
Yeah, and I've got glasses. I'm wearing a blue blazer right now. Like, everything about me is...
You have a very happy, nice vibe. Like, happy-go-lucky.
Oh, that's good news. I'm trying to talk... Like, I talk about masculinity a lot, just using the angle of me being small as a way to branch into it. That there's a lot of broader topics of, like, gender relations that I want to talk about. I want to be able to talk about religion, but frankly, I just don't know if I've written anything good enough to be able to handle something heavy like that.
Where do you want to see yourself in 5 years?
On the road somewhere. That's all I care about. That I just want to get on the road, see the country, and keep getting better.
I feel you, man. What are some things you have coming up? Like, where can people find your work?
I've got this big show in the end of April called Footnotes, where I've got 5 comics that are coming on that all do 10 new minutes. I think I talked about it on Wine Gardens, too, so you probably already know the basic premise. But that's going to be April 30th at Kymatic Studios, this warehouse in downtown St. Pete.
What's your name on Twitter so they can see everything you're up to?
It's at Starving Artist, like Starving Artist, but with an H in there.
And I like your tweets, man. They are very smart. Like, your comedy is unique. It's not hacky. It's not edgy. It's just you're being yourself.
Oh, thanks, man. That's what I'm going for.
Well, dude, keep up the good work, man. I'm glad that we were able to meet at David's house. You're very funny, and I like hanging out with comics that are within their age group of the 20s because I feel like I can relate to them more.
Right.
Because most of the comics I have on are like 35, 40, and I feel like they sort of look down on me. So it feels good to have a comic within 3 years of my age.
And it feels nice to get interviewed by someone who's not double my age, too.
Who was the oldest person to interview you?
Oh, they're not going to like this. It's got to be either James Bailey or it might be Weingarten, actually. How old?
He's like 30.
I think he said he was like 30. So, oh, shit, it's probably James Bailey. I'm so sorry, James. I'm so sorry.
I think David's like 38.
Oh, no, it would be David then. I'm so sorry, David. I'm so sorry.
But you're old.
Right.
Man, David Weingarten's the man. I love local comedy here in Tampa Bay, dude. It's legit.
Yeah, it really is. I think that it's going to slowly become the third axis of comedy in the United States, that we'll have New York, L.A., and eventually Tampa, Orlando.
Damn right, dude.
Sooner or later.
Keep up the good work, and I mean this when I say you will be one of the names they think of when they think of comedy in Tampa.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, dude. This has been Hoppe Hour. I'm your host, Ryan Hoppe, saying peace out.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.